Hey, Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, welcome to Thursday's show. This will be the last show this week, and we'll return on Monday. We're going to stick with 4 days a week for now. Still trying to get some honeydews done. Still trying to live a bit of a normal life before basketball starts here. Today, we're going to have Danny Neville. He's the head men's basketball coach at Rocky Mountain. Stay tuned because Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAIA basketball. One podcast at a time. Hey, today we have Danny Neville. He's the new head men's basketball coach at Rocky Mountain. Everybody knows his background. Great run at Jamestown. They just decided to go Division II, and that ended up in a disruption. He ended up leaving, and then he went down, and he was Chris Wright's associate head coach last year, and they got to Kansas City. The last few years, any team that Danny's associated with, it seems as though they get to Kansas City, but he's going to have a tough road there in the Frontier Conference. It's going to be extra tough this year. They brought in a lot of new teams. We're going to talk about that. But Danny Neville's a friend of mine, one of the best guys in the coaching ranks. I always enjoy talking to him. Tough-nosed guy. If you have never went out and watched his teams play, you need to. They're a lot of fun to watch. Why don't we just give a listen to Danny Neville, the new head men's basketball coach of the Rocky Mountain Battlin Bears. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Danny Neville on the phone, new head men's basketball coach at Rocky Mountain. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm great. It's good to be back.
You're how long have you been in Billings now? How long have you been setting up shop now?
Me and my family moved here July 1st. So feels like it's, a little bit of both emotions. Like we obviously moved from Oklahoma all the way up here, and, just all the moving parts with, my wife is a teacher. She got a pre-K job, and just getting my kids into school and me getting comfortable here, hiring assistants. So we kind of did all that. So now we're just getting into that. We were just getting comfortable, and now it's like, well, our kids start school on Wednesday and my wife starts school on Thursday. So here it is again.
So how have they treated you there in Billings? Or do you feel like a battling bear yet?
Yeah, it's been great. It's beautiful here. Me and my son just this past weekend, Mark Chose, our old point guard at Jamestown, got married. So we were driving through all the Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota. So it's just a really, really beautiful area. And obviously, the population being 120,000, there's a lot to do. And it's been really fun.
So you've already started putting together your team. I went through your roster. You've got a kind of a mixture. It's about half young guys, and the rest are seasoned, I would call them. You got some transfers, you got some returners. What was your goal with the roster this year? What were you trying to achieve?
Yeah, we're just trying to get guys that, fit what we do. And, obviously being my first year here, everything's going to be new. So it's that mix of these guys. Our guys are returning, the returners are returning, but it's all new stuff for them. So there's not, it's kind of a difficult situation right now, just with leadership and comfortability and all that. So, just getting these guys settled in and getting them to play together. But I feel like we got a talented roster. Obviously I haven't coached them yet. So, we got to get them playing the right way and a certain toughness to them. But we got goals just like every other team. And some of those are, we always call it like microscope, telescope. Some of those goals are, you talk about a microscope, they're those small, maybe weekly goals. And then you got your telescope where, you're looking for a conference title and national, getting to Kansas City, all those kind of goals. But right now we're in those smaller goals, just like I said, getting everybody on the same page, getting them, comfortable with our culture and and what's demanded and what's we've in my last 5 years we've had really really good success with different teams that I've been a part of, and I've seen it. I know what it looks like, and so just like I said, getting all the players and coaches and everybody all on the same page so we can try to accomplish the goals that we set out. But I like our group, just a mix of returners and some talented new guys.
Yeah. You have had success. Like you said, you do know what it takes. So with that in mind, when you're out filling your roster, you're sitting down with guys, meeting guys, what are the type of things that you're looking for? It's not all basketball stuff, I assume.
No, we just talked about it. We had a team meeting on Sunday, but obviously basketball wise, we've known each other for a long time. We like guys that are smart, that can play, play basketball, that are aware, can shoot, just some of those offensive skills. And obviously big guys, get, when I was at Jamestown, it was more so of like a developmental thing. And I think we'll do the same thing here. But I like our guys, and, I like the direction we're going in, and it's just those outside intangibles. It's having a great attitude every day, having great effort every day, being a great teammate, having great body length. So all those other intangibles that to me equal success in having a winning program. We want to have guys that we feel like we can coach them and they can be a part of that culture. So obviously we want to get good basketball players, but we also want to get guys that really fit what we're trying to do.
When I went through your schedule, you've got a couple big challenges early on. You're going to go over to Caldwell, play College of Idaho. College of Idaho has had a heck of a run. They're really tough in Caldwell. And then you play Northwest that same weekend. You're going to kick off with Walla Walla there at home. Fans in Billings need to get up to that Walla Walla game on November 2nd and see these new Battlin Bears and playing Danny Neville style. But as I look at your schedule, you're in the Frontier, and people would say, okay, Neville's in a new conference, but it's kind of half new because you coached in the North Star and you played all those teams in the North Star. So you're really familiar with a lot of these teams in the Frontier. Plus you've played a lot of Frontier teams previously in playoffs and preseason. How do you feel about going into the conference, your comfortability?
Yeah, I think it's a sense of, last year when I was at Langston, I didn't know much about, I knew, Nelson. We had seen them before, but most of the other teams I hadn't seen them. So it was just so different for me, and like adjusting to style of play, to how they do different things. And kind of like you said, the Frontier, even though I'm new, we used to play, some of those teams to the east, like Dickinson Valley and Mayville and Dakota State. We used to play them twice a year. So, familiar with them, but obviously respect them. Know how good they can be, but and just the old, the Frontier teams that have been in the Frontier, I have a lot of respect for them. Montana Tech and Carroll's and Montana Western and Providence. They're just, you go down the list and, there's so many good teams and good programs and good coaches. And, a lot of the coaches, you look in the old North Star and the Frontier, a lot of the coaches have been there for a long time. So have established programs, well coached, their teams play hard. So I'm really excited to be a part of it and, just compete in our first year of the expanded Frontier Conference, and just excited for the new challenge.
You thought you had long road trips at Jamestown. Some of these guys like Montana Western, I don't know how far their longest road trip's going to be, but it's a long ways. The conference really is over a large geographical area.
Yeah, it's a little bit. You adjust to it, and there's some trips that, you'll have to do some airfare for. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm kind of used to it, like you said, with all those long trips. But what makes the long trips better is just win a couple of those games.
Yeah, you might have to install the no whining rule again.
We might have to.
Remember when you did that when you first went into the G Pack? There was a no whining rule.
Yeah, it worked. Maybe I should try that.
What I want your opinion when I look at this new expanded frontier. I think it's going to be really tough. Now, it might take a couple years for everybody to kind of get to the same level, but there's some really good teams across the board in this conference. I think I think it could be seen as the premier conference in the country in a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, when you got the Montana teams, and obviously like you got Bellevue's historically, feels like they had a run there where they made a national tournament every year, and Dakota State with a new coach coming in, and he's been very successful, and just there's so many moving parts to it, and like I said, you look at the Montana teams too, and just how well coached, and that one year we came out here and played Carroll for the national tournament, like after playing that game, we had so much respect for the Frontier Conference, and knew that they were really good. And we had seen the Carroll team prior as well. I think they had a team make it all the way to the national title game, and obviously Montana Tech, making the national tournament. And I think we were in the I think we were in Kansas City one year when they were there. So, you're gonna have teams that we're going to really compete, and we just need to get to the next level of, I always think like those conferences that can have multiple teams get to Kansas City, that's where you get the ultimate respect. So, we need to do a good job. This is being, the new Rocky Conference is starting this year. So this is our chance in this first year to really get, other people in the country to respect us at a national level. But that takes a little bit of us as well, getting to certain spots, Kansas City, the national tournament.
Right.
But I think the ultimate respect is obviously, teams can get to the national tournament, but I think it's big to actually win games in the national tournament.
Danny, one of the things you had to do was, assemble a staff. Garrett Duffin, you and I talked about him, and Deshaun Kirk, both guys who, they know how to win. How important was that to get a staff that, brought that winning attitude, that knew how to win, that had been around winning?
For sure. I mean, it was huge for me. I always joke like Deshaun, when he was with Ottawa with Matt Keeley, they made a run to the Final Four. And then Garrett, when he was at Mankato, they won the national title. And so I always joke with them. I'm like, you two have been in 2 games. The only 2 games I haven't been in are 2 games that you guys have been in. So, they've, had great bosses to, kind of mentor them and show them the ropes. And, the biggest thing with both of them is they have great experience, and like you said, they've been in winning programs, and I just thought that was so important in our first year to, establish a coaching staff that has proven, that they can win and are going to do it the right way. And, and again, like I was joking, I was talking to one of my coaching buddies, and I was talking about Garrett, and he's actually a physical therapist. He has his doctorate.
Oh.
Don't ask me why he chose to coach over that, but I was talking to one of my coaching buddies, and he's like, how's your assistant Garrett? And I'm like, well, I'm a little worried because he's a lot smarter than me. And he said, Danny, any assistant you hire would be a lot smarter than me. And that's pretty true.
Sorry, you see that one coming for a mile, but you want smarter people around you. That's what you want, though.
100%. They've been great, though. I've really enjoyed them in the short time that we've had so far.
Danny, talk to the fans there at Rocky Mountain, the people in Billings. What can they expect when they come out and watch those Battlin Bears this season? What kind of team can they expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just passionate. I love getting our guys just play with like a little edge and, to really compete on a daily basis. I think, your habits are established every day. So if you really compete in weights and compete in practice and compete in conditioning and compete in all that stuff, then you're just going to compete when it's time for the bright lights to come on. We're going to be team first. I mean, we're going to really move the ball. We're going to play as a team. And then we're going to be fast. I mean, obviously we've always kind of played like that, but fast but efficient. And, we're just going to kind of come at you. We're not going to let anybody try and dictate the pace. We're going to try and dictate the pace right away. And it's just going to be exciting brand of basketball. But obviously before we can do that, we got to get all these guys all on the same page and get them to play team basketball. I mean, The teams that I've had that have been successful, there's nothing better. Like, obviously being successful is important, but there's nothing better than being successful and winning with good people. And I think, that's what we're going to try and do here as well. But I mean, it'll be an exciting brand of basketball and we're going to really, really compete. But, new coaching staff, new players, new culture, new all this, we got to get going.
Well, it's going to be exciting. I really encourage those fans to get out there and, just fill the gym up. It's this the Battlin Bears are going to be good, but the Frontier Conference can be amazing basketball. NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America, and they'll prove it every night there in Billings. You got to get out to these games. Danny, I really appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes.
Appreciate you, man.
I can't wait to get out there in Billings and cover a weekend. We're going to try to put something together. We can do that maybe next season. That would be awesome. But thank you very much for giving me a few minutes.
For sure. I appreciate everything you do for NAIA basketball, and I think you're a huge asset for us coaches and the NAIA as a whole. So really appreciate what you do.
Well, I really appreciate that, Danny. So that's Danny Neville. He's the head men's basketball coach, Rocky Mountain College, Battlin Bears. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot to caught me off guard there, didn't it? Hey, thanks a lot to Danny Neville and to the Rocky Mountain College. Danny's doing a great job out there. I can't wait to see this new Frontier Conference in action. It's going to be great basketball. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks again for everybody's support. Another great week of Cascade Hoops Talk, and we'll be back first thing Monday morning. So remember to tune in every day, every weekday. We're doing 4 days a week right now, but Cascade Hoops Talk. Hey, we'll talk on Monday. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.